Thank you so much for staying with me on your radio therapist, reaching you from Vintage 93.7 FM, Oluyole, Ibadan. I'm so glad to have you join me and also to know that you are there. Remember, like I said, that your radio therapist is reaching you from Vintage 93.7 FM, Oluyole, Ibadan. And everything we do here on your radio therapist is not professional advice. Yes, I know I'm a counselor, psychologist, and also a family lawyer. But what we do here is just to give you general orientation and general education on everything that has to do with mental health, relationship, marriages, family life, right? So if you ever have those issues or you're interested in those topics, please do not change the dial. In case you're not interested in those topics, I want you to ensure that you increase the volume of your radio so that those who are interested can hear it loud and clear. And through you, they can receive help, right? As I said earlier on, today happens to be the first day of September 2024, and this is beautiful. This is the first day of September 2024. It is a Sunday. We know that generally that a week starts on Sunday. So imagine that the first day that we started the week is the same day that we are also starting a month. Not just that, it also happens to be the first time that we are also starting the Ember Months. For those who may not know what the Ember Months is all about, I would like to tell you what the Ember Months is all about. The Ember Months is all about the Ember months are the months of the year that ends with ba or M. So we have months like September, October, November, December. Talking about the months that end with Ember. Not just the months that end with Ember, we are also talking about the months that end the year. So the last part, the last 4 months of the year. For those of us who live in Nigeria and other parts of Africa, we know that we have started entering the dry season because the moment you come out from August break, you experience some rain and the dry season comes, and we start looking for Harmattan and start looking for all the things that come along with that. It is your radio therapist, and I'm glad to have my friend who is always, always with us. She's also joining me for today's conversation, and I would like to mention to this topic in case you missed it. It is hard to handle all the fears, handling the fears and anxiety of Ember Months. There's this fear and anxiety people have from Ember Months. They get to be scared, they get to be worried. People are always afraid that in Ember Months, somebody will usually die. In Ember Months, maybe there's accident. In Ember Months, people are broke, and there's all of this anxiety, and there's all of this fear. See, I am so excited. That is the Ember Months because anytime I hear Ember, I remember Christmas, right? But for some other people, it brings back some form of trauma. It brings back some kind of fear and anxiety. And joining me today in discussing this topic is one of my amazing friends that has always been here. And interestingly, she is joining us from the UK. So let me go straight and ask, how will I go introduce you today? Should I introduce you as Mary Luke, or I should introduce you as MMG? Which one would you prefer?
I've always been MMG. Marriage did not change my name.
Okay, okay, that is fine. MMJ, Mercy Grace. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today, this afternoon?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hope you are doing well and you're doing good.
I'm doing good.
Great, great. Okay, why MMJ is speaking for those who may want to call in for contributions or you want to call in for questions, you could always do that on 0704 7000 937. I will call the number again 0704 7000 937. Or you could also reach us on 0909 7937. Right? So if you want to participate, please participate. So MMG, thank you for joining us once again. And I'll be asking you this question of how did you feel like when you woke up this morning and it was the Ember months?
To be honest, I actually felt nothing, to be honest, because I try to take every day as a new day to just be the best version of myself. That's all I do.
Okay,
So
interesting. That's good. It's good to know.
I try not to be negative or speak negatively about things that are beyond my control. So
Okay.
I wake up each day without feeling like, oh my gosh, we're in Ember Months or things like that. It doesn't cross my mind. To be honest, what gets my mind is, oh my gosh, the year has run so fast that we're almost close to Christmas. That's literally what was on my
Mm,
mind.
I get that. I get that. That we are close to Christmas. That was the same thoughts that crosses my mind anytime we enter the Ember Months. But that does not mean that there was not a time and a season in my life that I was scared of Ember Months. There was actually a time that I was usually afraid of the Ember Months because, of course, you want to follow the statistics, and you can argue otherwise, but you cannot argue the statistics. In Nigeria, we have more road accidents. We seem to have a lot of road accidents during the Ember Months. We seem to have a lot of fire outbreaks during the Ember Months, and some of all those disasters, whether they are man-made or they are natural made, during the Ember Months. So there was always this fear, and I have lost, as someone who comes from a big family, I have lost family members during the Ember Months, right? So I lost my mom during the Ember Months. I lost my grandma during the Ember Months. I've lost many dear people to me during the Ember Months. So yes, for a season of my life, I had that fear and I had that worry. Maybe I stopped being afraid of the Ember Months during my NYC. So you can see how, for a long time, I was head bound in that. So MMG, I would like to ask you, do you have such a history, maybe an experience in your past of your own personal worries and anxiety about the Ember Months? And have you at any, or maybe not you, but someone that you know having that particular challenge?
Actually, I did initially when I lost my dad almost 8 years ago. And it was so bad that
Sorry for that.
my whole personality, everything will change. And
Hmm.
at one point, I had to pray to God that towards this time of the year, that God should please make me forget his birthday and to also forget the year of his death and the month. So, in fact, right now, if you ask me exactly what month my dad passed away, I can't honestly tell you because that was one of the prayer points I had. Because always entering towards the Ember month, I'm October, my dad was October, my sister was is October, not was is October.
Mm.
So it was a very, very trying time for me.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
actually had to ask God to wipe my memory because it was like as if I was
Mhm.
having a banjay every single year. Towards that time, my
Wow.
behavior would go out
Yes.
of the window. I would be erratic,
Hmm.
mood swings. And it was one day I realized
Hmm.
this was what it was. It was because then I didn't even know what mental health was. It was then I understood that I was being triggered because I was
True.
so anxious coming to that time of the year where I would not think about my dad for the whole
Yeah.
year. Then towards that time, it's like, oh my gosh, reality was hitting me. It wasn't until about 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
Oh.
where, you know, that
Yes.
fear was no longer there because the Holy Spirit has started to remind me, of his birthday, and it will no longer trigger me. Where, of course, I will cry and things like that, but my mood will no longer be like as if I
Yes.
have a banje in me, that kind of thing. And that was for me the way I dealt with the Ember months for years because it was just too traumatic for me to
Yes.
remember because it was like my dad died during the
Wow.
Ember months and his birthday was also during the Ember months.
Oh. It means that if you have to remember his birthday is during the Ember Months, if you have to remember his death is during the Ember Months, it could actually be very
Yes.
crippling. Even in therapy and counseling, many times what we try to do for all those people who get to suffer is that deeply, we may consider hypnosis and some other things to help them. For me, what I
Yes.
did was that you want to sit down, and I like the way you went around it. You were able to get therapy through a by using the advantage of prayer, right, and taking your relationship with God and using that. In fact, before in taking your relationship with God, program, your radiotherapist, I know we have talked about how you can manage stress and deal with life issues through your faith and your relationship with God and how it can help. Would you like to know how I handled it?
Yeah, how did you handle yours?
So I would like to mention how I handled mine because this time I was in NYC. So I'm talking about I was about 23 years old, 24 years old at that particular time, and I continuously had this fear, especially for someone like me who always travels to the village for Christmas. And you hear, oh, somebody was traveling to the village and the person died. There was an accident. Or somebody was returning from the village and the person had an accident. And I was this village boy who always want to spend Christmas in the village. Like I always want to travel. So the thing I did was that I for you prayed, and now God was always helping you. The Holy Spirit was always bringing it to your remembrance, and God also helped you, like you said, more or less like cover wipe up that part of the memory. The way I handled it was more or less different. I also use faith-based. I use scripture. I use my Christian faith, and it says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all His benefits." Right. So what I did was something simple. I had to sit down and count all the ember months that I had survived. That's actually what I did. So I counted all the ember months that I had survived. At that time, I was about 23 ember months. So I sat down and discovered that in all those ember months, I've never had an accident. In all those ember months, I've never had the fire issue. In all those ember months, I've never had robbery. In all those ember months, I've never had many of the issues the people complain about. Yes. So I sat down and all the troubles that people complain about. Yes. So I sat down and I told myself, if God can keep me through those 23 ember months, this my 24th ember months will not be a big deal. That's actually what I was telling myself. So that's always what I usually tell myself, man. Do you know how many ember months I've survived? Like, do you know how many ember months I've lived through? Do you know how many ember months I've enjoyed? Of course, my situation, my case may not be the same for many people. Like for someone like you lost your dad during the ember months. So that history is there. We cannot take it away. You understand it now? So for people, I would like to ask you regarding you have used
Yeah.
faith-based, you have used your faith, your relationship with God. You are able to use it to handle yours, and we realize that generally in counseling and therapy, there are different ways and there are different techniques that you could actually use to help people. So for those who are watching us right now on YouTube on Facebook, or for those who are listening to
Yeah.
us live on radio right now, one of the techniques you could actually use is what MMG has already suggested. But you just praying to God to take away that fear. In fact, when I wanted to start this radio program, one of the things the music I wanted to play was I'm no longer slave to fear. I'm a child of God. But I played Jesus take the wheels because this ember months take it to, take it, all the school fees, all the money, all the Christmas planning, everything take it and let's get it done. So so I would like to ask you, MMG, for you, what would be other suggestions you would like to give to people who may be suffering anxiety right now, people who may be suffering from fear of the ember months? What would be your counsel? What would be your suggestion to them, in addition to the technique you've already shared with us, with which you handled it?
Well, so a few years ago, I got into therapy, and one of the things my therapist taught me was hypnotherapy and hypnosis, basically. And I'm a huge, huge fan of hypnosis. In fact, on my YouTube channel, because I'm also a career coach, I've actually created hypnotherapy
Mm,
playlists privately for my clients. Some of them who suffer anxiety before their interviews and things like that. I actually have three
mm,
to 4 hours of hypnotherapy that they listen to while they are
yes,
sleeping. And every single one of them who
yes,
I have introduced to hypnotherapy have always told me they were listening, but they fell asleep, but they did not see, they didn't hear anything. I said, don't worry, it is in the way you feel the next day. And by day two, they'll come back and tell me they felt lighter. They're like, what's this thing I did? I said, it's rewiring your brain waves when you sleep by speaking to your mind, speaking to your soul, speaking to your physical body. hypnotherapy is one tool that I am so sad that I did not discover very early. But I'm glad I discovered it now because it's my go-to thing whenever I'm feeling low, whenever I'm feeling down. Like I have on my YouTube, I have hypnotherapy playlist for everything: decluttering, overeating, stress, job search, finances, and it
Mhm.
works. You have to be consistently using it for 30 to 60 days to see the effect. But even after
Yeah.
a day or 2 days of using it, you will feel the calmness. So one thing I do is when I'm picking hypnotherapy videos, I also go through the comment sections to read what people have said about a video because you can tell, I rate the comments via low to highest comments so that you know where if people have found anything dodgy in the wordings being said
Mhm.
and things like that. And I always, because I'm a Christian,
Yeah.
I drop one or
Yeah.
two because there are this Psalm 23, Psalm 24, Psalm 91, quite a lot of Christian hypnotherapy videos on YouTube.
Mhm.
So I combined it into a playlist and that's what I
Mhm.
use. I literally have different playlists for different things that is all hypnosis that I play it when I want to sleep and boom, I feel good as new in a day or two.
I'm telling you, and, hypnosis is one of those amazing ways, especially when you're combining it right now with music therapy, right? When you're combining it with music therapy, so you are going to pick a song, you're going on YouTube, and you're just finding these instrumentals, or you're finding this hypnotic music, or you're finding this the words just flashing my head now. It has walked away. I don't know where it has gone to. This was music that gets to help you program the moods that you want to create. It's usually best you work with a therapist like MMG did to be able to know which ones will be best for you, right? But then MMG also shared something. MMG shared something amazing that if they take advantage of, they could do. So you could go and say, oh, you're finding sleep music, or you are going to find you're searching for relaxation music, or you're searching for relaxation tunes, and whatsoever you want to achieve, you search for it. So I would like to do this because that's one of the things that I use for my kids every day. Like when I want to put them to bed, usually I'll put them to bed. They want me to lay on the bed with them, lie on the bed with them until they sleep off. But sometimes I'm busy and I cannot do that. So what I'll do is that I'll just go to those particular playlists on YouTube and select the particular type of song that I know will cool down their nerves, right? Cooling down your nerves means that sometimes I know that okay, the type of songs I read need has to flow nature. So it has to be songs, it has to be hypnotic songs, hypnotic playlists, tunes and the rest that focuses that the theme is on water, or the theme is okay, what I want to do right now is to distract their brain and distract their brain, move their brain somewhere else. So I look for the ones that has to do with flute, that has to do with flute, that has to do with oboe, that has to do with clarinet and the rest. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to stimulate their brain right now. I don't want them to just sleep off immediately, but I want to stimulate their brain first of all so that they can meditate for a while before the sleep. So I'll go and look for those ones that has to do with strings, maybe the guitar, and just different things. So the truth about it is that if you're going through anxiety, from what MMG has also shared with us, is that you may want to seek therapy, right? So you may want to seek therapy. You may want to pick up your phone right now and search for counselor around me. Pick up your phone and search for therapists around me, or talk to your friends to find a therapist. If you want to contact us directly for us to work with you, that is fine. That is also what we do, right? But MMG, thank you for that. Thank you for that. I
Sorry
will
for
still
that
come.
interruption.
Yes.
Sorry, bro. I just want to quickly say something. While picking up your phone to search for a therapist, please, and please make sure they
Write
are
down.
certified like All Right is. Don't just go for anybody that just says they've done a course, they've done therapy. Make sure they are certified. It's not just the fact that they either have been a pastor for so many years or they have been a teacher for so many years. Make sure they are certified and they have the certifications to back them up, like like All Right does, and so does a lot of the counselors that work under him.
True. True. Thank you so much for putting that in. Yes, of course, I would not want you to choose a counselor that is not a professional, certified, and licensed counselor. Everybody right now is a counselor. The interesting thing about it is that if you're a human being, naturally you're a counselor. As a brother, you're a counselor to your brothers and to your sisters. As a parent, you're a counselor to your children. As a human being, you're a counselor to your friends and you're a counselor to the people around you. But what we are talking about right now is that you're looking for professional certified counselors to work with you, right? And of course, thank God, I'm also a counseling psychologist, licensed for that purpose, and a member of the Counseling Association of Nigeria with my license to practice as a counselor, right? So MMG has put that out to us, and we'll still come back to that. We'll still come back to some other techniques that could help. We'll still discuss things that could help you reduce your anxiety and also reduce the fear you may have of Ember Months or the fears you may have right now. Do not forget that if you have questions or you have comments, you could drop it on Facebook, and then you drop it them on Facebook, or you're dropping them on YouTube. We will take those comments, we will take those questions. And if you want to call in, that's fine. I would not say no. You could call in 0704 7000 or you could call 0909 999 7937. I'll call again 0704 7000 or 0909 999 7937. Do not forget that this is your radio therapist and it is reaching you from Vintage 93.7 FM, Oluyole, Ibadan. MMG, the next thing that I want to ask is if we are afraid and we are anxious, then it means that something is causing it. Something is making us afraid and something is making us anxious. Something is breathing in that fear and something is breathing in that anxiety. So I would like to ask you, for you and the people that you have worked it in the line, we have worked with in your work and the rest, and the people you get to interact with, what do you think are all the issues that causes these fears and this anxiety during ember periods? What are some of those things you think may make people unnecessarily scared and afraid during the ember periods?
What the thing is, each and every one of us are sensory beings. Each and every one of us, our sight, our smell, our hearing, and what we taste, all play a part in creating fears, memories of fear or memories of pleasure. So at the end of the day, first of all, be careful what you see. And the thing is, especially when you're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, if you keep scrolling towards a lot of things about death, things about sad things, your feed, what Facebook and the algorithm, whether it's on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, the algorithm is created to keep pushing your way the things you frequently keep watching. So if you frequently keep watching things that are sad, horrific, things that are depressing, that is all you will keep seeing. One of the things that I do is I follow a lot of, I think I follow almost close to 3,000 different pages and people. But these people, they are content creators that their content are usually very happy, either because I love animals. They're either about animals or their children or family. Funny content that if you see my reel on Facebook is literally about different happy content creator things that have to do with either children, babies, pets. Because or DIY hacks I
I'm
never
telling you,
knew.
when you were talking,
Because
yes. No, no, sorry to interrupt you. I was only just mentioning that while you were saying those things and the rest you were mentioning, I also discovered that one of the ways I relax is actually to go and watch animal documentaries, animal channels, or I'm watching one kids show,
yes,
like for kids that are 15 years and below. I just get to enjoy their program, watching their programs, and I discover that I'm now more relaxed and the fears have gone. Yes, you may ride on,
exactly,
ma'am.
exactly. So it is what you're watching. That's number one. Number two, what are you hearing? So, for example, people around me know, even my clients, they know I don't do negativity. Don't do. It doesn't mean I don't deal in facts. It doesn't mean that in La La Land or I'm building castles in the air. but it is all about in the phrasing. So, for example, if you know you're going to be made redundant and you say something like that to me, like, oh, I'm going to be made redundant, my life is over. No, you can't come at me with that
Mm.
energy. It's a case of saying, I'm going to be made redundant, but I know there are better things out there for me. So I will keep pushing, I will keep trying.
Yes.
So you're not denying the fact that you're being made redundant, but instead of going, I'm going to
Yes.
be made redundant, my village people are at work, nothing I do ever
Mm.
progresses, blah, 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 blah. You speak the reality, but you
Mhm.
also speak positivity along with the reality. Oh, right now I am broke, I'm not making a lot of money, times are challenging, but I know things will come around, things will turn around, good things
Yes.
are around the corner. Why? For everything that is challenge, there's opposites word of challenging, which is what is. It is hard. The opposite of hard is what easy, soft.
True.
Don't use words that don't have a positive opposite when you're describing things in a factual way. Right now, my life is challenging. Right now,
True.
it's hard.
True.
But I know in a year's time, in a few months' time,
Mhm.
things will turn around. Because for every challenge, there's a solution. For everything that is hard, there's a solution. But when you make,
Of
because
course.
even
Of
my
course.
husband, when I met him, was the biggest, he used to hide behind, oh, it's factual. I said, no. In fact, now he corrects himself.
Mm.
Like the last few days was like, oh, he was feeling worried regarding our house, blah blah blah. Maybe the land. I said, don't bring that near me. I said, you know how to do affirmations, go do affirmations. I said, you see that thought you're having, keep that thought inside your head. And if you're gonna spit it out by backing it up with something positive. I am feeling this way, but I know by the time I say ABC, things will be better.
Mhm.
Acknowledge the
That's right.
negative while reaffirming the result you want to see with a positive word. I know I am broke. I know things are hard right now, but give me the next 8 weeks. Things will turn around.
Yes.
Be better. My clients will come in their
Mm.
in multitude. So you're factual. You're saying things as
I'm
exactly what
telling
they
you.
are. You're not living in la la land, but you're using positive reinforcement to speak what you want to see come out from that situation. So that is the second one, which is
Speak.
your words. What you hear, even music is
Yes.
very, very important. I know we always like to chill, to dance
True. Certainly.
and things like that. For example, my playlist, a lot of my playlist of especially Nigerian songs, because I like my Afro beats. There are a lot of them are still very, very old. Why? Because I'm very, very conscious of the words being said and the words I'm singing. Even if it's a love song, even if it's
Mhm.
a sexual song, I don't want anything negative near my space. For example, for a very, very long time, about Abagbola was one of my favorite songs, because when you play that song, you feel like as if you're a millionaire. Like money is plenty in your hand.
I
So
understand. I understand that well.
so that is that is the other one. What you hear. These three things, they
Mhm.
actually play a huge part in what in your
Yes.
anxiety, the creation or the reduction of your anxiety. And there's some of you that you're like,
Thank.
oh, when I'm stressed, I drink and drink and drink. No, alternate your drinking for water, flavored water.
True.
Do
True.
something opposite of what you do when you're stressed. If you drink a lot when you're stressed, go and buy, sparkling water and mix it with Ribena. You will get the fizziness you need.
In fact,
So
I wish
that
that
covers
everyone.
the four things.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, MMG. I actually wish that everyone could take these things and just see how they can hold them very dearly. Thank you so much, MMG. Yes, we are still on the conversation, and the topic we are discussing today is handling fear and anxiety during the Ember Months. Today happens to be the 1st of September 2024, which means that today is the first day of the Ember Months, and people are usually scared of the Ember Months. However, this is your radiotherapist reaching you from Vintage 93.7 FM Oluyole Ibadan. And what we want to do today is to help you prepare for all the days of the Ember Month so that you don't get to suffer from anxiety and you don't get to suffer from the fear that many people would suffer from. Now, why MMG was saying that was talking and the rest, I paid attention to realize that there are certain things that make all the evils that usually happen in the Ember Months to happen. Now we are talking about the fire incidents, we are talking about accidents, we are talking about maybe job loss and the rest. If you, it all comes down to the fact that perhaps in the Ember Months, people all automatically want to make all the money that they can for Christmas. It's like they want to make all the money that they have not started saving since. So you see some people, it is from October they want to start saving for Christmas, so they start driving recklessly because they want to make 3 times that money in one day, or rather, the money they are supposed to make in this month, they want to see how they can make 3 times of it. And so they get to be driving recklessly. They are always, people are making reckless decisions at their job places, right? They are trying to steal money, they are trying to rush up to be able to meet up with their KPI at the end of the year. There are just a lot of things that actually causes these particular evils to happen. So what you should do is to ask yourself, if there was an accident, what happened? What caused that accident? Was it that you were driving recklessly? Did their brakes fail? Did their tires give way? Did this and that happen? Now, if you've known the root cause of those things, you go and you fix them in your own life. You don't try to see how you can rush things. You don't try to see how you can allow anxiety creep you regarding certain things. And of course, regarding your health, you also want to be very careful because of the dry season, the dry winds, the harmattan winds. It could be very easy for certain diseases to spread and for certain viruses that are airborne to spread. So you also want to be very careful to ensure that you don't get to deal with things like that. They are just sit down, because the truth about it is that there's no difference between September and August. Neither is there any difference between October and July or November and June. We are the ones who are actually acting different. We are the ones who are trying to rush things off. We are the ones who are trying to make many things happen at once, as if we must not do all that miracle. When you hear my voice again, we'll continue from where MMG stopped when she was talking about the different ways you can deal with anxiety and the different ways you can deal with fear. Like now, the basic thing that we have shared today is try to see where is the source of your fear and try to see where is the source of your worries and concerns and avoid it. Find things that are empowering, find contents that are empowering. Of course, that's why I advise that you listen to Vintage 93.7 FM Oluyole Ibadan regularly, because we get to share things here that you will like, right? You will get to share amazing things here that you will like. So you want to consume great content, you want to consume content that are, you want to stay away from all the bad news, you want to ensure that you do not joke with all the security tips and all everything that you're supposed to do. So you, when you are leaving your house, you ensure you change over, right? You ensure you change over to avoid electrical fires, electrical faults. You ensure that you don't make calls around your gas cylinder or your gas stove. You ensure your gas cylinder is outside. You check on your brakes, you check on your tires, you check on your car, you ensure that you respect other road users and you are not always late, that will make you always want to be in a hurry, and you follow the speed limits that are set for those particular roads that you are on. Now, there are many other aspects of it. You set your budget. So if it's possible right now, if you're buying Christmas shoes, Christmas clothes, Christmas things, you want to do everything possible to see how you can achieve that between September and October. I understand that August and September is primarily for school fees for children, but at the same time, just ensure that you don't do things that will put you under unnecessary pressure, that will make you always want to be in a hurry, or that will make you careless. And MMG said you want to consider music, you want to consider social media content, you want to consider relationships, things that will calm your nerves, and things that will calm you down. And do not always forget that you have survived many Ember Months. You may have experienced one traumatic incident or the other in the past during the Ember Months, but remember that that was 2013 and this is 2024, so it's not the same. That was 2020 and this is 2024, so it's not going to happen again, right? Once you have that, and if you're a Christian, you want to pray and see trust God and depend on God, and if you have any other religion, you want to also see how you can just relax and enjoy yourself. and be free. We are still talking about handling fear and anxiety during the Ember Months on your radiotherapist. It is I, yours sincerely, and all right, I have MMG on the call. She is joining us from the United Kingdom, and this is Vintage 93.7 FM, Oluyole, Ibadan. Don't go anywhere because we are not yet done with this conversation. I'm in love with you for real, cause I'm only once you selected. You came to see the D. All my wrongs you corrected. Then you made an extra move. I give you your life, I'm proud of you. What am I gonna do but love you, and I want. And I love the way you put a smile on me. And I realize unconditional love is what you have for me, Daddy. Your love for me, the kokoroko. That's why I no go let you go. That's why I say I love the way you hold me. Your love is, I love you. I love the way you hold me. Your love is, I love you. I love the way you hold me. This song, I love song. Yeah. If not be Jehovah, my brother, now where I for day today, people for carry me go, carry me play. Yeah, kill him, 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 yeah, kill him. Kokoroko, 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 I love the way you hold me, kokoroko, 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 I love the way you. My God. Come between me and you, dear Lord. Nobody cares about me like you do. The way you listen to me, God and protect me. Kefi, I'm Tiwanya. We're going higher and higher. With me, better. I love the way you hold me. Kokoroko, kokoroko, kokoroko. I love the way you hold me. Kokoroko, kokoroko, kokoroko. I love the way you hold me. Eh, na so. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you so much for staying with us on your radio therapist, which is reaching you from Vintage 93.7 FM Oluyole Ibadan. Today, our topic is handling fears and handling the anxiety and fears that come with the Ember Months, right? So, in case you're having fears or you're having anxiety, we planned that today was going to be for you, and we hope that you have enjoyed the conversations thus far. We are not yet done, and with me is MMG, who is joining us from the United Kingdom, right? She's joining us from the United Kingdom onto this conversation, and it has been beautiful all those why. Right now, we are talking about anxiety, and we are talking about those who get to have the panic attacks, those who get to have all the fears. I remember what the Bible says. Rather, it was Job who said it in the Bible, in the book of Job, when he said, "What I fear most has befallen me." So there's every possibility that if you're having fears and you're having anxiety, you may actually attract those things to your life. So if you're afraid right now that, oh, I may have an accident this Ember month, I may die or I may lose a loved one or something evil, something terrible might happen during this Ember months, there's a possibility that that fear is actually true. would happen. And the thing about it is that it's not about Christianity. If you go through all the other religions, and if you talk with people who deal with metaphysics, and you talk with people who are therapists, people who work with the mind, that are hypnotherapists, other people, mystic people, and the rest, they would always let you know that your mind plays a big role in how things happen to you, how things happen for you, and how things happen around you. So if you're having fear and having anxiety right now, you may want to deal with it. You may want to deal with them so that you don't attract those things into your life, so that you don't use the power of the mind to pull those things towards your mind. Some people will say, but I've been trying to use my mind to pull riches and pull wealth and pull marriage and pull children and pull different things to my life. They are not yet here. So I don't actually give a damn. Even if I'm pulling the negative things, they will still not happen. Well, that those good things that you are trying to attract with your mind are not yet here does not mean that they are not on their way already. They are already on their way to your mind, to your life, and to your person. It's just that they have not arrived yet. So if you decide to say, oh, because they are not yet here, I will use my mind anyhow, the evil things that you're wishing and you're pulling to yourself, they are also coming, right? So, MMG, I would like to ask you, I believe you're still there. Are are you still there, ma'am?
Hello, I'm still here.
So, I would like to, oh, great. So, I would like to ask, and I would like to ask, I do not know for you, have there been a place of maybe a place of exercise? Sometimes in therapy, when some people come for therapy, I usually want them to exercise. Sometimes I want to see what is it that is their diet. Maybe they are binging on sugar and factory products a lot,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sometimes I am trying to see what is their sleep pattern like, because some of these people don't even sleep up to 4 hours. They don't even sleep more than 3 hours, and maybe they get to have their eyes on the screen till about 12 a.m. in the morning, and we are having all those different things. You have shared to us amazing tips today that we cannot just overlook, that we have to apply. You shared with us the place of prayer, the place of prayer. You shared with us the place of the content that we consume, and how we should be very deliberate about those things. You've shared with us how we have to pay attention to the things around us, to the news around us, and to see how we can be more deliberate regarding this period. So I'm looking at now the place of maybe deep breathing. Some people just want to do yoga. I'm looking at the place of I'm also looking at the place for the deep breathing, a place for exercises, right? Your exercises, a place of, I know for someone like you are in summer right now, and summer is about going away. A place of going out, smelling the roses, smelling the coffee, seeing the bright colors, the bright people, enjoying the moments. What would you have to say regarding this?
To be honest, I would say it is such a great idea. For now, I've not been able to join yoga yet because of my schedule, but it's something I've actively put on my bucket list
Mhm.
to do before this year ends.
Okay,
But the one thing I know
I
is
understand
that
that. For me, mhm.
when I spend time with myself, either reading from one of my favorite authors, watching comics like Trevor Noah, they're on Netflix,
Okay.
watching programs like The Up Show, I actually find myself so relaxed, and sometimes I even sleep while watching them.
Mm.
And because of the fact that I'm constantly laughing while watching these shows, I'm releasing
Mm.
oxytocin naturally in my body.
Yes, the
And
happy
this means
hormones
I am
come out. Pop, 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 pop,
constantly
pop.
happy
Mm.
doing this.
I realized that I was super excited this morning when I woke up because yesterday evening I was deliberate. So I went to meet my friend and we went to the badminton court to play badminton. Like, and for those times that I played, we were on the court playing this game and enjoying the game. I was stretching out to myself. Of course, I had the hernia surgery in July, and so this was the first time I was actually stretching myself since I had that surgery in the first week of July. So I was stretching myself and I played. When I slept like a baby. And when I woke up today, it was very, very amazing. I was fully relaxed. MMG, because of our time and because our time is almost up, I would like to ask you, what is it that will be your last counsel for anyone who may be dealing with anxiety and anyone who may be dealing with fear just because it is the Ember Months? What would be your counsel to that person, your suggestions to that person for anyone who is dealing with fear or dealing with anxiety right now because it's the Ember Months?
First of all, watch what you see, hear, and say. Try and keep yourself around only happy things. It may seem ridiculous, it may seem crazy, but it is one of the ways to reprogram your mind, reprogram your brain. Now, like I said previously, it doesn't mean that you're hiding away from reality. It just means you're trying to keep your mind in a positive space that no matter the news you hear, you're able to take it, deal with it, acclimatize it, and know, okay, it's happened or this is not for me, and move on. Don't internalize the issue.
Thank you.
If you can't talk to anybody, if you cannot talk to a friend, go get a journal,
Thank you.
write things out. After
Thank
writing
you.
it, if you don't want to
Yes.
keep it, if you
Mm.
don't want to keep it, if you think, oh, I live in a place where people can see it or whatever, write it in your journal how you're feeling, pour your frustrations out there, and close it and put it under your bed, under your mattress where nobody can see. And if
Yeah.
if after you write it you feel relieved but you read it, take those pages, shred them into pieces, and put them in the black bag, put them in the bin.
Oh,
And in that way you're throwing them away. You're throwing away the worry, you're throwing away everything you were feeling that you were putting there.
MMG, sorry, we were having issues and we are unable to hear you clearly. But thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you for this conversation. Right now, if you listen to us, this is your radio therapist reaching you from Vintage 93.7 FM Oluyole Ibadan. And do not forget that this host every Sunday 1 p.m. We are here addressing mental health issues, relationship, marriage, and family life issues. I want to say thank you so much for joining me and thank you for staying with me. Now, no matter how much you may be scared or the anxiety you're suffering right now because of the Ember Months, relax and remember that you have already survived many Ember Months before now. This is not the first Ember Month that you are surviving, and you are going to go through the rest in a very beautiful way. Relax, and if you discover you're having panic attack and it's getting scary, find a counselor. If you want to reach out to us, you can do that on 090 30 86 80 55. One and I or my would attend to you. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is El and I'm all right. And from the ancient and modern city of Ibadan, I say, you rock.
Thank you for having me. Bye.